Call the meeting to order.
Coffee?
Here.
Kelly?
Here.
McKinley?
Yes.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think we have one public comment tonight. Alice, come on up.
Nobody else has got to meet me all the time. Okay. Last week, you guys had 6 ordinance changes on the agenda, of which one got shut. Question. When you guys got copies of the changes, if I remember correctly, so you hand them out, correct?
Yes, usually.
Is that the first you guys see these, or do you review them before you decide to vote on them?
It's a mix.
It's a what?
It's a mix. Sometimes they do see them ahead, sometimes they don't.
Because I've seen people, you flip through them, I'm sorry, I read every day, and I just don't understand, that's what I was questioning. How much time you guys spend reviewing what the changes are?
Well, that's why you'll recall probably, a couple months ago or even more, I suggested that some of the bigger ordinances we lay over for one meeting. That's what we did with the garbage ordinance, that's what we're going to do with this electric rate. So a lot of times things are put on the agenda twice so they have time to review them.
Okay, because like I said, I saw people just flipping, but I didn't know if anybody read the whole ordinance or just highlighted areas or whatever. It's just a comment
Most of the
that I
time we
noticed.
know what's coming. We just know.
Okay, the next thing was the planning meeting, which I thought went real good, our session did. There was no bickering, everybody had some good ideas, but good ideas, I know you see your thing, letters said 1 to 3 years projected use and stuff. So I know it doesn't happen overnight. I've been in too many of them, went through too many consulting companies where I was worked at and stuff. Everything can sound good, it's the finished product on down the road, what we see. But I would like to know what we're paying for all this planning. I know we paid the company. I know they're not cheap when you have consultants and all. So I kind of asked them what we're paying for all this.
Well, right now the consultant itself for the multi-thing, so they've done a demographic and economic survey and study. They did the focus groups. They're going to do the workshop on Saturday and then come with help us put together action plans. So for all of that, I don't have a total. They gave us an estimate of it'll be 12,000 or less.
12,000 or less total.
Yes.
So we have to recoup from this planning $12,000.
I don't know why you say we have to recoup. We're actually investing in the community.
We're investing, but for that 12,000, I'm hoping some of these projects that we recoup.
Well,
Great
that's the
business
reason
stuff.
why we're doing it, is not to let it sit on a shelf.
Because my comment is, and you know my feelings on the other, and it's carried over, we couldn't afford postage to mail out a thing. So I'm hoping my cat, I went through a lot of consulting companies where some things sounded good meetings, and nothing came out of it. I went to others that were recouped. And I do mean recoup for the city. If you're going to invest, you want to get something back.
Sure.
End of my comment.
Thank you. Section 1 is a consent agenda.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, I got another one. Calvin, would you like to come up?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
well, come on up, Calvin. The reason why I asked him to attend is, as you know, we've had quite a bit of issues with our water. The color of it, I won't say the quality, but I've tried to publish as much as possible about the fact that we're dealing with a very large leak that we're having difficulty finding. So we're trying to just take another step to either answer questions, let him kind of relay what we've done to this point, what we're doing moving forward, to try to get it addressed. And I know that they're working very hard, and I want him to try to relay how much they've been putting into it and what we're trying to do. So I appreciate him coming.
Well, as you know, we've got some water quality issues. Some of them are related to service lines and different things and people that have had issues for a long time. But the main thing that we're trying to address is that we have a large leak in town. We've been, and we belong to Illinois Rural Water Association, who's been out here many times and has listened and used equipment to try to find the leak. We've dug a lot of holes in the town. We've found quite a few things. We've replaced 7 service line or meter problems in houses where we just have either abandoned houses or houses that, you know, they didn't drip their water and the meters froze and broken in basements. So that causes a lot of disturbance in the distribution system, especially at this time. We're on the end of a fire hydrant flushing cycle. So as we all know, the water mains in town are very old. A lot of stuff has built up inside them. And so when you all of a sudden rush a lot of water through there, and it causes a disturbance, and then people see temporary, hopefully temporary, problems with the coloration of their water. But the water is still safe to drink. Obviously, we test it, and iron deposits are not necessarily, you know, harmful. They're just, you know, more of an aesthetic problem. So at any rate, we've been looking and looking. We've identified a lot of leaks. We had some abandoned buildings like across the street there where we dug off the shut-offs and shut them off. Now on Friday, the Illinois Rural Water guy's been down on Water Street, on the west side of Water Street and John area, and he can hear something going on down there. We've been down there and we've dug 2 dry holes, one at the corner of John and 54, where we found a T and a lot of fittings that were put in some time ago, and then a couple by the mayor's house there that were smaller leaks and things that he could hear, and we dug up. So at this point, he's kind of at a loss. So what we've done is we've hired a guy from Leak Detectors. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's going to come on Friday, and the 2 of those guys are going to work together and see if we can identify with a little bit better equipment where this actual problem is, because we can't just keep digging through concrete and holes. And we found some valves that we didn't know were there and were buried under the concrete. On 54 and John, when we dug that up, we tried to shut the valve to see if we could hear on one side or the other. And when we did that, then the bolts were rotted off, and so the entire bonnet of the valve came off, which was pretty disastrous all at once. So once again, that causes a giant rush of water, like opening the fire hydrant, and causes, you know, disturbances in the distribution system. So we'll try to find the leak and hopefully move forward with some of the planning that we're attempting to do, and take a look at the distribution system and realize that, you know, we have some fire hydrants that need to be addressed. Helps us flush it better. We need to be able to open those things up and get the water flowing. And I know you guys all know this, but
no,
that's where we're at. So
I'm thankful that you're here. I just want to make sure that we're as transparent as possible and everybody understands, you know, that this is not something that you're not addressing every minute of every working day that you're there. I know you are.
We try every day to go. If people have customer complaints, we can't satisfy everybody, but we go down to different houses, you know, and I never hide from anybody, and we always try to go. And well, of course, we're not going to make everybody happy.
Right.
But you know, we have some answers, and sometimes it's a service line, and you guys know that, you're in the business of water.
But it can also be a hot water heater too. I mean, there's a lot of things that factor into your water looking discolored or things not, you know, and especially the lines that they're running through in town are old and ancient, and I just want people to understand that the amount of water that's rushing right now.
Right.
And they, you know, that.
Hopefully now it's slowed down a little bit. We identified a lot of leaks, you know. And a week ago Sunday, we were at the situation where the water tower was getting low. This old laundromat across the street had broken a 2-inch service line in there that goes into that. So that just rushed water through there. We had to dig the curb stop up to shut it off because, of course, it didn't function when you try to get on it. And So we've identified a lot of leaks, and I've slowed the gallons per minute down at the water plant, backed that off a little bit in order to keep the water in the tower, though sometimes when everything goes wrong all at once, you got to crank that up, and that causes velocity through the water mains, which stirs up everything, just as if you were flushing fire hydrants.
Well, and that's the thing that Calvin and I had talked about too, is that the water coming out of the wells is clear. It's our distribution
Right.
system or the service lines. It's
the
the
time of the
pipes
year,
in the
too.
ground, so.
The time of the year, the cold weather can cause.
Cold water, and if I could go out there and it was summer and I find a leak and shut it off and flush all the fire hydrants, everybody'd be, I don't know that they'd be happy, but it'd be better.
Are people calling and at least letting us know that, hey, my water's really bad? I mean, it might help in that area.
Not really.
People call a little bit and tell us, mostly on Facebook, we see
Maybe 1
it.
out of 10 calls.
But they're not actually calling the city hall.
Some of
You know,
those.
I know some places in town are going to be worse than others, some are not going to be so bad. For my own shop, I got a little bit of temp on water, and even though I treat it too,
Right.
maybe a little bit more than somebody else does.
And
but,
it's down there in that area of your town. He listens to those fire hydrants, and I know you saw us down there, and we've been listening to those fire hydrants there, particularly on Water Street, on West Water Street and West Market Street, and the oldest part of the town, obviously, so, and he hears something, but then he puts all his detection system stuff on there, and it tells him to go this way, and then we go that way, and it tells us to go that way, so this gentleman that's supposed to be coming now is a private guy. His name's Nelson. He's from Leak Detection Services. So he's been in Texas looking for leaks. He goes all over the country. So he'll be back Friday, and hopefully we can.
I think you said that it's not, you don't see it showing up at the treatment plant.
No.
The water's not there.
I don't see it in the sanitary sewer, no.
So it's going in it's going in another tile, or it's undermining something out,
Right,
and
right. 30, 40,000 gallons of water is a lot at the water plant, but at the sewer plant, depending upon if you get some rain or with the combination sewer, kind of, it's hard to tell. But yeah, I'm not seeing there a big number there. So
You're going to see some changes in the budget when we start doing the budget workshops. I've created some new sections for annual replacement of main, annual sewer lining, annual, every year, starting to address the pipes in the ground between distribution and collection.
do you think we could apply for a low-income grant? Do you think
I am applying for several.
Okay, good.
and the fire hydrants are a thing too. Obviously, we got some problems with that. So, when everything's regular and everything's going well, we can flush those fire hydrants, which we like to flush them and really flush the stuff out of there, but then that causes a lot of trouble. Just like I close the valve, then all the bolts are rotted off the top of the valve. So then when you open some of these old fire hydrants and they chatter and shake like that, and then there's 4-inch cast iron in the ground, and then they break. And the last time we flushed fire hydrants, I think we had 4 main breaks.
And we're doing that too. We're going to start replacing a certain number of hydrants per year.
Because some of those date back to when that system was initially laid. I
Oh, yeah.
see ones in town that go back before the turn of the 20th century.
1893, 1896.
That's when everything was done, was in the 1890s in this town.
And the town kind of grew, from what I understand. Obviously, I'm not from here, but the Main Street water main is a big old 8-inch water main that I've dug up several times, and then everything kind of went west down there, down Water, down Market. All that stuff's really old.
You can tell where it was at, because Plum Street was the main drag in town, coming from the train station up to Market Street, which took you here to the hotel. Then Water Street went down to Washington Street, which is where all the business people lived at and everything. And then John Street was another kind of a heavy street in town. And of course, the school being over here. And anything that was paved back then is because it's either got brick or concrete. And that was the main part of the town at that time. So John Street was nothing where the high school's at. They were just a cow path down there.
Right, all that stuff is, when we dig and we see brick and concrete, then we know it's really old. And the hydrants reflect it, some of them. And the problem with replacing some of those is there's no service valves in front of them. So then it requires a large section of the town to be shut off. So everybody said, well, fix that fire hydrant once. It's not quite that easy, unless you want to spend a lot of money doing line stops and then still, what do you have? Old lead joints and old pipes. So updating and moving along is
obviously the way to go, but this particular problem we'll try to solve as quickly as we can, and we'll work. Friday they'll be here and hopefully try to find it the leak, but I'm thinking that the water should maybe be calming down. Some of you guys, I know Mayor had some discolored water. Has it improved at all?
A little bit, yeah.
And you had a leak on both sides of your house.
Yeah.
We fixed both of those. So.
The other thing that could cause the discoloration of water is the treatment plant. Because you're softening that water, that soft water will loosen everything up. And it can provoke leaks. Something that's been crusted over and the water gets in there, it's been long enough that, and if you're doing what you're doing as far as flushing goes, it just makes it even more so that's going to happen.
That's exactly right. And for a while, we started putting a chemical when we were flushing to help to scour those mains and stuff, and we kind of backed off from that because it was
Cleaning them up too much.
cleaning them up too much. That's exactly right. So we you know,
So unfortunately, it's been kind of a two-tiered for them because they're still trying to find the major leak, but then every time they dig somewhere, they're having to fix something else.
Right.
So they are kind of doing double duty right now. But I thank you, I wanted him to.
Yeah.
We have a
Thanks,
lot
Calvin, for all you're doing.
have a lot of service line issues and stuff too at the same time, so it all kind of happened at once. We had a big cold snap and it stirred some stuff up, so. Yeah, but if anybody, you know, always call the water department. We're glad to come out and try to help or do whatever we can.
Well, at least maybe it'll help identify leaks somewhere too.
Yep, and hopefully Friday we find that, because then we can slow the water plant down even more, because the more velocity, I turn the water plant up, you know, 100 gallons a minute more than what I normally run it at. Obviously that's causing velocity through the,
Sure.
to
So
the
is that
mains.
going to cause all of us to have, no matter where we're at?
It shouldn't, if you haven't seen it by now, I've been kind
Well,
of,
my white clothes didn't come out and blood the white this time. So
I've
that's
been
the reason I
backing,
asked.
we found quite a few leaks, so we're kind of backing it off, so yes, I mean, it
I'm
affects
way down on Main, so,
way down on the north side of Maine.
yeah. But that's the only thing I noticed is it was changing, so I didn't know if that was because of everything else going on in town.
Yeah, it should start to slow down a little bit, and hopefully
Okay.
Friday we can find it and dig it up and fix it.
And you can't flush the lines right now, can you?
And it's, no, and that would be the thing, I would like to do that, but that's a twofold problem. Obviously, it's very, very cold, and it causes more problems. And then, when the water tower, you know, can't start opening up fire hydrants if we're not keeping up the greatest, because we got to keep water in the tower for fire, and obviously a little discolored
It's a
water is
catch-22.
better than none.
Thank you, Calvin.
All right,
Thanks,
Thanks,
Calvin.
Calvin.
Okay, section 1 is the consent agenda.
Move, approve it.
Second it.
Call it.
Coffee,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
motion carries.
Section 2 is unfinished business.
I have nothing to add. This was laid over to give you a chance to read through it, and if you have any more amendments or questions, whatever you want to do.
I move that we approve ordinance 997, amending chapter 53, garbage and refuse.
I'll second it.
Call it.
Kelly,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
motion carries.
Section 3 is new business. I talked to Scott before this, he'd like to be here for some of this. So there's nothing that's really, we have to get past tonight. But he didn't want to be left out on these. So we can kind of we can table these and push them back till next meeting.
You want a motion to table?
Yeah.
Motion to table the, what do you want?
We'd have to do them all, won't we? Or can we table them all?
You can do whatever you want. You could table all of them, or you could go through them one at a time. It's whatever you choose to do.
We'll just go ahead and table all these. There's none of these that have to be passed tonight.
Yeah, number 4 about the electric rates isn't, was only for discussion anyway, so
Sure.
the other 3, yeah, they're not.
I move that we table resolution 2018-3, 2018-4, 2018-5, and also this, and the discussion, I think you table that.
I'm sorry.
Do we have to do each individual?
Do you want to do it each individually? Or do you-
No, you don't have to. I just didn't hear. Did you want to table number 4, the discussion?
Yes, the discussion.
Okay.
I'll second it. Call it?
Coffee?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
McKinley?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Section 4 is executive session. Folks, we're going to have executive session here, and this
Well,
will be...
I was wondering if you wanted
Well,
to, you know,
we can table
delay
this
that as
also.
well.
Scott
Does
wants
that
to do
require a
his own.
table if we got, or just not?
No, there's no action taken on it. If you choose not to go into executive session, then there's no motion. So you don't need
Skip
to,
that.
yeah, you just skip it. Because to go into executive session, somebody needs to move.
Sure.
But if no one moves, then it's appropriate to just go to the next agenda item.
Okay, well, we'll move on to section 4, which is the other items. City manager's report.
Okay. The only thing I have is just an update on the strategic plan. We're moving it to the high school library because Brian Payton said that the room that they were going to put us in at Schneider is too small once he found out that we'll have 10 to 12 people. Because the staff, the department heads will be there.
Sure.
So he's asked to move it, so you just come to the high school library. And that's from 9 to 4. So we'll have a light breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
Sandy will be posting the public notice. It's not an official council meeting, but we have to do a notice because there will be a quorum. It is open to the public, but there will be no participation on the public's end. They can sit and listen, but that's all I have for tonight.
Non-agenda items or other business. There is I think the chief had a report in here also, correct?
Yeah.
That was his annual review.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice overview of the year.
Any other questions or comments?
Move to adjourn.
Call it.
McKinley?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Kelly? Yes. Motion carries.